Hey guys, it's Dave. I'm going to go over my trades of the week. First one, I am finally out of XRX, Xerox Holdings. Going back to why I entered this, number one, if we just zoom out, look at the daily chart, this looks terrible, right? I would not be a buyer of this. If I take out these VWAPs here and toss on the longer term trend lines. So let me just associate you here. The white line is the 10 EMA. The blue line is the 20 EMA. The yellow line is the 50, and this pink line is the 200. So you can see this has just been getting smoked, right? From all the way, I don't know what I just moved there. All the way from, what was that? $20 down to $5.79 this week, $5.74 at the low. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's not something you want to be, holding your hands out to catch a falling knife here. You will get your hands bloody. So what I do is I will sell that to a buyer. I shorted this. Why I did it? Firstly, you can see it had some consolidation here. A little bit indecision is the shorter term, and the 50 EMA SMA was chopping around, and eventually it broke lower. I was watching this 815 level. It broke lower. It consolidated below that, kind of had a bear flag type look, and then it broke lower against that, retested it, and just failed. So I was looking for a break of this day's low, February 21st, the low of 770 for continuation to the downside. It broke. I entered here, I think around 764. That's where the white line is. So I'm assuming that's where I entered, and held. Held for about 1 day, and I exited on the third day. Pretty sure I exited in the morning off the bounce. And whatever. I exited here, took half my position with a nice gain, and then let the last half run and roll. I held through this like 10-12% bounce day, and it continued on down. Now I managed this on the 65-minute chart, and so what happened was on this day here, I moved my trailing stop loss to like 680 or so, maybe 682, and it continued on down. And then once it closed on where's the beginning here? This was Tuesday, so I'd say Monday. After it closed Monday, down here, I moved my stop loss up to this. I was treating this as a higher low here, and I moved my stop loss up to 630. It was a little too tight, and Tuesday morning it came up, tagged me out at 630 by 6 cents, $6.30. So that was my stop. It went up to $6.36, tagged me out by 6 cents, and continued on down. So that's where I exited my last half of the position. It was basically at the 5 SMA. I really had no reason to get out. The 10 EMA, the 20 EMA, the 5 SMA is all pointing downwards. So I kind of, I kind of mismanaged this a little bit. Simply because I didn't really have a real reason to get out. I moved my stop loss too closely, got tagged out only to miss a further continuation downside move. Is what it is. I think it was like a 2R gain or so. Maybe it was 1.5 to 2R, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's how I played XRX. Next, I took a play on Tesla last week that did not work. I think I may have taken 2. But if we look at the daily chart, Tesla has been getting smoked, which, I'm a long-term holder in Tesla, so it kind of hurt to lose all these gains. But long-term wise, I think it's going to be just fine. And I am treating this as a buying opportunity. Form a longer term hold. What I would really like is for another pullback into this 230, maybe even retest this 220 level. I would start personally, not financial advice. What I am going to plan on doing is starting to buy a little bit more down there. small size, and then if it wants to continue down, I'll continue to buy a little bit down position wise until this really wants to start turning around. However, what I did do, so this has been getting smoked. You can see the shorter term MAs, the 50 SMAs pointing down. It's clearly underneath this this pink line here, so 200 SMA, clearly underneath that. So trend is down, right? This was a bounce play. This is an attempt to get a bounce in. So what I did was, let's see, what week is this? Monday the 25th. I don't think that was that last week. That doesn't even make sense. Monday the 10th. I guess it was. So I tried it on Monday. 9:30. Let's see. Yeah, I attempted a bounce on Monday. I'm pretty sure I was working. I bought it just before it was breaking the anchor VWAP, and I set the my stop loss at the low of day. Did not work, and exit. My attempt one failed at this 235-ish level. What was that low? 237, probably 236. That's where I got out. Pretty bad entry. I need to wait until it's over the daily VWAP, at least for a minimum. I was working. This is why I shouldn't trade when I'm at work. But here I am, and that's what I did. Oh wait, no, I had last Monday off. Work's not even an excuse. It's just a bad trade. So following then, later on in the day, so this is same day, I'm looking at a 30-minute chart. Later on in the day, same day, I took a shot at the end of the day for the bounce, because my thesis was still, it's getting ready, it looks like it's getting ready to bounce. So I did buy here in this white line as price was holding the anchor VWAP from the low of the day. I bought here at like 222. 222.78, that's where the white line is, and my stop loss was the low of day. However, what I did is when market closed, this thing was getting smoked, and I was watching it, and it broke the low of day, and I'm pretty sure I sold out around 219.95. I sold out after hours, and obviously, that was kind of a mistake because we got a nice push, but either way, even the next day, I would have been shaken out because my stop loss was below the low of the day. When it opened up, my goodness gracious, where are we at here? Sorry about that. That was bad. When it opened up, you can see that the next day it did indeed undercut the 220 that I had in, 217 on that low, and then it did nothing but turn up. I had a pretty large position in this because it was such a tight stop loss. I think I had like 43 shares on it. So this would, if I had the goal to hold, which I did not because I'm trying to manage my risk, this would have been a solid trade. However, it didn't work out. So there's that. I am now watching this again. Especially, you can see that we have continued. I have a gap down here. It's not a true gap down because there's still some price action in this area. But however, you can see this high 253, 251, 251.58, 251.84, 253. So this like 254 to 251 level has been consistent supply. However, we are getting tight over these past Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Low volume on Friday's move. So we could get a push through, especially if it wants to break this 253.37 high of this day. I would probably enter on here for a short-term move up. Maybe it hits 265. Maybe, if the move is strong enough, if we're looking at VPOC here, you can see that there's, let me cut out this information here. We're getting a little node starting to form around these levels here. You can find next supply around like 262 or so. I don't know, maybe 280 could be next. That would be close to the 20 EMA. I wouldn't hold more so. Again, if I were to play this again, this would be a bounce play to like this 280-ish level. I'd say 260 would have to be first and then 280. I would keep my stop loss close on that plan. So that's what I did for Tesla. That's a potential plan coming up for this week for Tesla. I'm always watching Tesla because it's a good trading stock overall, in my opinion, if you can learn to read it right. So yeah, other trades that I started this week. Let me go to my current swings. I also started PLTR. This is again a bounce play. PLTR, you can see. So I actually shorted PLTR Thursday. I did indeed short at the end of the day. What I was kind of looking at here was this was not drawn yet. I was looking at lower low versus here and lower high versus here. And I was anticipating potential downside continuation to at least retest this low of that day around 70 or so. But obviously it ended up being a higher low. So when it gapped up against me, I closed and then I longed the afternoon. Let me turn the after hours off here because it's annoying me. I longed, let me turn the 15-minute on. I longed here when it looked like it was about to break this first hour range. Here at 85, my stop loss is pretty close, 83.50 below this tail here. So it broke out, continued to retest that breakout level, and it created a new high. So we'll see if we get a gap up. Oh, ideally we get a gap up, and this would be a higher low here because it's held these highs. I was watching this. This level here, this 85-ish level, and then next, I'm targeting this 90 here. I can see it going to 90. If it did, I'll probably take some off the table and then let the rest run. So I'm kind of watching this 90 to 91, 92, 90 to 92 area, just basically where this high is. Because then once it hits this, I'm anticipating some supply because this here is the anchored VWAP from the all-time highs. And from the day of the all-time high, I would anticipate some supply there with confluence of prior level of supply. So I wouldn't expect anything significant past 90. Maybe then it hits, where's this? It hits that 90, pulls back to create a higher low versus this guy here. Maybe that would be a higher low. So lower low, then versus higher low, and then creates a higher high. Maybe that plays out in PLTR, not sure, but just a plan for it. Now moving on to, so I'm in PLTR. I entered, what is that, 80, what's my white line there? 85.52. Stop loss is 83.50. Yeah. Okay. Next, I entered a short on DV. Daily, you can see it got smoked. Huge gap down. I'm kind of following the H pattern here. So nice. I consider it a short covering, like initial buyers, because they're pretty good in the money, down 36% on an earnings gap down. So H found some supply near the 10 EMA, starting to roll over. I was watching for a break of this daily low. It broke that. I entered on Friday, gapped up against me. However, I'm managing this on the 65-minute time frame. So I entered on this low near end of day, looking for continuation downwards, but really all you can see this level here where this bottoming tail is, it acted as support. So my stop loss is here at 1470 above this high. So we would have to have a structural change in order for this not to work, meaning a higher high would have to be made. So if that happens, then I'm out. Otherwise, I'm staying in this because my thesis is not wrong yet. This could easily tumble on over and create a lower low versus this, then maybe tag 1340. I can see it doing this, boom, then create a lower high, and then boom, boom, bounce here, maybe chop around, and then continue on down. Something like that, potentially. I don't know if it's a terrible zigzag. Price action doesn't, go like that, but something like that. to where we would just have further continuation to the downside on this H-type pattern. That's what I did. That is those are my trades that I'm currently in and the trades that I am no longer in. Let me clean that up. Hopefully that is helpful. It helps me to review what I did, so I have an idea of the mistakes that I make so I can try and limit them as best as I can. And we move forward from there. Trade safe, manage your risk. Good luck this week. Later.